participants of the 10th International Scientific and Practical Conference, Psychological and Pedagogical Problems of the Formation of the Modern Specialist. I sincerely welcome everyone present at this extremely important scientific event. I have the honor to represent the state higher educational institution, Uzhhorod National University, the Faculty of Social Sciences, and in particular the Department of Psychology, which is actively researching current challenges related to the psychological well-being of individuals in the context of social transformations. The topic of our presentation, Current Issues of Psychological Security of Servicemen of the Security and Defense Forces of Ukraine, is not only scientifically significant, but also vitally necessary in the context of full-scale war. Today, in the context of the Russian-Ukrainian war, significant socio-political, economic, and spiritual changes are taking place in Ukrainian society, which requires us to pay attention to the issue of psychological security in society and its crucial component, the security and defense forces of Ukraine. A review of the priorities regarding the interpretation of psychological security issues in the context of large-scale armed aggression against Ukraine and the shift of focus from the interests of the state to the interests of the individual requires clarification of the very concept of psychological security for servicemen of the security and defense forces of Ukraine. Today, Ukrainian scholars interpret the psychological security of servicemen as a dynamic, integral, and complex phenomenon, feeling and state of protection from internal and external dangers, which enables them to successfully overcome external and internal threats and ensures the reliable and effective functioning of all structural components of their psyche while performing their assigned tasks. At the same time, the psychological security of servicemen is considered within the framework of the national security of the state, which is an important component of virtually all types of national security: social, military, informational, political, economic, medical, legal, demographic, and others. Ukrainian legislation defines national security as being determined by the degree of protection of the vital interests of individuals, society, and the state from external and internal threats. However, it does not present the concept of psychological safety as an important component. But there is a need for this, since security is a fundamental social need of a person that has developed within society. It was the need for security that the prominent American psychologist and founder of humanistic psychology, Maslow, considered to be the main factor that mobilizes the biological resources of the organism in extraordinary circumstances such as wars, natural disasters, and pandemics. He explained psychological safety as a sense of trust, freedom, and security that separates one from anxiety and fear, and especially from the feeling of satisfaction of a person's needs today and in the future. In addition, Maslow emphasized that the need for safety can become relevant whenever there is a real threat to law, order, and state authority in society. In our opinion, psychological security is a component of social security, which, in interaction with political, economic, informational, and other components, influences the human environment, the quality of life, makes society resilient and capable of development, guarantees minimal risk to life, and supports the physical and mental health of people. Social security should be defined as an integrated system of interconnected elements built upon the relationships between the social system and the surrounding environment, with the aim of preventing the negative impacts of social risks and reducing the level of dangers, as well as protecting individuals, the state, society, and their social interests, values, and needs from threats of a social nature. Thus, psychological security is a component of both social and, accordingly, national security of Ukraine. It should be a priority area in ensuring that service members are able to maintain an adequate mental state and professionally significant behavior while performing their assigned duties. The military organization of the state, which includes all of Ukraine's security forces, is one of the most important instruments for ensuring national security. It can and should build its own local security system, including psychological security, based on the principles and provisions of the general theory of national security. I wish all the participants of the conference fruitful discussions, academic growth, new ideas, and bold decisions in the task of developing the psychological resilience of modern specialists. Thank you for your attention.